This comment says, but on the flip side, I have a dog with severe hip dysplasia and arthritis. He was born with these issues and they've only gotten worse with time, and yet he's never been aggressive. And that opens up a whole nother can of worms. So I wanted to use this comment to talk about something that's going to require us to hold contradictory ideas as true at the same time. Often when behavioral euthanasia is on the table, whether we're talking about animals who don't currently have homes, they're being adopted out by rescues or shelters, or we're talking about animals who have caused injury so severe that they are making the news, or we're talking about a private case where a family is contemplating behavioral euthanasia. Sometimes we will hear people talk about how pain or health issues are so often an underlying factor, as if that should eliminate behavioral euthanasia from the table. And sometimes it does. Sometimes we are at that point, and that point is different for everyone, and that's important to understand, and context matters. So there are a lot of different nuances and variables here, but someone might be at that point, and then we investigate an underlying health condition or pain. We get some answers, we get treatment, and that shifts the risk so significantly, or it risks the quality of life for the animal or the people involved so significantly that behavioral euthanasia does indeed come off the table. But sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes we can say this dog is in pain and this dog presents a risk to the family, to themselves, to other animals in the home, to the community that is not appropriate, that is not conducive with continued life. And I'm using this comment to talk about this because here we have an example who is experiencing pain, who has been experiencing pain from the beginning of their life, when developmental conditions are incredibly important, and has not displayed aggressive behavior. And there may be dogs in the same sort of situation who have displayed aggressive behavior. But that aggressive behavior might be manageable, it might be predictable, it might be low level. It may be directed in such a way that management is very easy. But then there may be other cases where perhaps the management is not at all easy and very likely to fail. And perhaps the bites are very high level, they're very risky, or they are directed toward populations who are very vulnerable. For the quality of life around managing these potential aggressive incidents is too low for the dog or for the people involved or for the other people that aggression or animals that aggression might be targeted towards. Or it may not be very predictable. And not being very predictable doesn't mean that we don't necessarily know what's going on underneath. It means that we can't necessarily predict that catalyst. And pain is a great example of that. So if I have a dog who is aggressing on high pain days, and they have a condition that is going to shift with the weather or with the seasons. If I have a dog where the first signs that are observable, at least to those involved, are these extreme levels of aggression, then I might need to hold together the contradictory ideas of this dog is in pain and this dog's behavior is not compatible with continued life as a domesticated dog. And I see this a lot in comments around big aggressive behaviors where the stories have made the news. And people will say, oh, that dog was abused, that dog was neglected, that dog wasn't properly socialized, or that dog probably has pain or health conditions. And sometimes those things are true, sometimes they are not true. There are many, many, many reasons other than abuse and neglect that a dog may end up displaying aggressive behavior that is not compatible with continued living in society. And health issues and pain can absolutely be part of that picture. But the thing is, if you have a dog who unalives someone, or a dog who's biting at a very high level, when they experience pain, that's not typical, that's not normal. And we may have to hold those contradictory ideas at the same time.